My name is Kevin Hughes. I happen to be fortunate to be married to Grace. Just a little bit background. I saw Grace the first time she did her Grace Talk #1, and at that moment I decided I'm going to marry that woman. I did, which is fantastic for me. The downside to that is every time she does a Grace Talk now, I get to work instead of getting to enjoy the show. But you will enjoy it tonight, I guarantee it. So what I would like to do is have you welcome Grace to her first night performance for her Grace Talk #6. So again, the lovely and talented Grace Hughes.
Turn off their cell phones, but I'm sure that they already did that. People are pouring in. Well, good evening and welcome to Grace Talk #6. Now, if you've been to any of my previous shows, you know that I ramble on about ridiculous things that have happened to me. Now, it's stuff that seemed awful at the time, but now that time has passed, it's not so bad. One good example of this is the morning of my wedding 7 years ago. I was sitting on the floor in the back of our van with my brother-in-law, Jim. And my soon-to-be husband was driving us across town to deliver this elaborate 4-tiered wedding cake that I had made myself for the wedding. I believe we have a picture of it. Any moment now. There it is. Now, it took me forever, and as I was sitting there on the floor, I was afraid it was going to topple over, even though I had secured it with many dowel rods down through all the layers. So Kevin was driving very cautiously down I-72, and all of a sudden we saw flashing lights in the back of us. So yes, we got pulled over for driving too slowly down the highway. Now, luckily Kevin did not get a ticket, probably because there was this hysterical woman in the back clinging on to this big wedding cake. But then we had to go bumping down the very pothole Hazeldale Road. And I kept yelling up to Kevin, slow down, slow down. And finally, Kevin said, Grace, I'm only going 3 miles an hour. So, awful then, but I can laugh about it now. But this year was different. Now, I waffled a lot when they asked me to do a new show for First Night because it's been a rotten year. My friend Erica suggested that maybe I shouldn't even do a show because it was so bad, but I felt like I couldn't do a show and not at least mention the bad things. But she was afraid that since this is billed as Grace Hughes comedian, that I'd get nervous laughter at the bad things, and that would be awkward. Plus, it would be a bad way to start the new year. And at first, I agreed with her, but then I thought, well, life isn't all funny. Sometimes bad things happen, and even though it has been the worst year of my life, I am up here now, and I feel like I do still have some funny things to tell you. But first, briefly, I'm going to tell you the bad things, a very, very condensed version. At the end of March, my dad went into the hospital, and it was horrible. And then they diagnosed our beloved and darling dog, Molly, with cancer. And then Dad got out of the hospital, and then they said that Molly's cancer, which was lymphoma, was the worst kind of lymphoma. And then Dad went back into the hospital, and after 2 indescribably horrible weeks, my dad died. And then they treated Molly with all kinds of chemotherapy, and she felt good. She did not know how sick she was, but the cancer was vicious. And so 3 months after my dad died, on September 3rd, Molly also died. So, it's been a very bad year, and for a while there, I didn't know if I was ever even going to feel like getting out of bed in the morning. I mean, I did get out of bed, because that's what you do, right? You get out of bed. Most of the time, anyway. But, for a while there, I kept waking up thinking, what is the point? I mean, every single day, what is the point? Until finally one day I woke up, and well, I didn't feel fantastic, but I did feel like I still had some happiness deep down inside of me, and I had to let it out and make people laugh. And that makes me happy, and that is a reason to get out of bed in the morning. So, getting better. But now, in addition to these bad things, there was also one other unfortunate thing that happened to me this year, and I was not going to bring it up. but I have decided, probably against my better judgment, to just tell you what it is. 6 days after my dad died, on May 24th, I turned 50. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, my life is probably now half over. I mean, I can't even believe I just told you, 50! Now, last New Year's Eve, just the thought of turning 50 was up at the top of my list of things that I obsessively obsessed and worried about, at the top of this very long list. But now, since I've had such a bad year, I feel like, okay, it doesn't really matter. Life goes on. 50, what are you going to do? So, what I've done is I have tried to come up with a list of good things about turning 50. I have my list here. It's a kind of a short list. I actually have it memorized. Okay, number one is, excuse me, number one on my list is that if I wanted to, I could now join the AARP, the American Association of Retired People, because you have to be 50 years old in order to join. But because my darling husband Kevin already turned 50, because I'm his wife, I already got to be a member. So yes, for several years I have already been a proud card-carrying member of the AARP. Woo-hoo! There's my card. So this means that for several years I've been able to get my 10% old people discount on car rental. Okay, number two, another thing is that I don't have to worry about getting carded anymore. Now, I don't know how old you're supposed to look exactly when they stop carding you, but I did get carded at least a couple times in my 40s, but now nothing. Okay, that's not entirely true. I was at the grocery store the other day getting my big box of Merlot, and the checker guy carded me, and I was so happy, and I thanked him profusely, and I was so excited, and I told him he made my day. But then, as I was leaving, I glanced back at the lady in line in back of me. Now, she had one of those tight, old lady, frizzy gray perms. She was wearing her old lady polyester pants. And she had so many wrinkles that she had to have been pushing 100. And yet, before he swiped her fifth of Jim Beam, the checker guy carded her. Yeah, 50. Now, I know that Kevin did not freak out when he turned 50. We had a nice party. He was happy about it. But Kevin is the most calm and collected person I know. But I do feel like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like men have an easier time with getting older than women do. And so I thought, well, okay, I'll talk to some women who are also dealing with it and try to get some advice about getting older. And so I made a little video about it that I would like to show you now. Here's my video. Okay, now that I have achieved this milestone age, I thought that I would talk to some different women and get their perspective about things, and I would love to get some advice, some little pearls of wisdom, or any kind of help about getting older. This is my good friend Pam Brown. Do you want to tell people how old you actually are?
I am, as you can well see, I'm dressed like Mary Lincoln, and I portray her on a frequent basis if I possibly can. But I am at this moment the same age Mary was on her death date. I am 63 and a half years old.
So that's big, actually, that you are telling people, you're admitting to your age.
I'm not afraid to admit it.
Lots of women won't do that at all.
In fact, you know, a lot of women will take their age and they'll say, oh, I'm only 60. I'm just the opposite. I'll say, I'm 65. So people will say, man, you look good for your age.
I'm 73.
So this is a way for me to do something I love, which is acting, because I'm an actress. But I also get to share a little bit about a woman that I've come to admire.
This is my friend Felicia Coulter.
Oh, no last names, please.
Let's start again. This is my friend Felicia. And I'm trying to get some advice from women who are, dealing with the aging process as I am. And first of all, you just want to tell people your age.
No.
I mean, I don't think it would be really a big deal. I thought, we talked about that.
No.
Okay, let's just stop a minute. I thought, we talked about it and you said you were going to tell.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's not a big deal,
No,
right?
I guess no.
Okay, all right. No big deal. Okay, let's do one more time. This is my friend Felicia, and you want to just tell people how old you are?
No.
Okay. All right, never mind. Forget the age. We've both gotten older, as people do. So, do you have any advice on getting older?
Just embrace your age. Learn from all of your experiences and love yourself.
Love yourself.
No matter how old you are, because it's all just a number.
So
It doesn't matter how old you are.
All right. That's it. Then that's it. Just okay.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. That's enough. This is my mom, Betty Jo, and even though obviously she's older than me, you probably don't want to tell people how old you are, right, Mom?
Grace, of course I don't want to tell people how old I am.
Even though you know she's older than you, but
A
okay.
little.
She was a child bride. But I've been talking to some different women, and I'm trying to get some advice about getting older, and I just thought you might have some tips.
Grace, I have so many tips. I love being, I sort of love being old. The best thing about being old is that when you're old, you can just say anything you want to say. You can just open your mouth and say, okay, this is what I'm saying.
And she does do that.
I used to be shy when I was younger.
I don't believe that.
I wasn't really.
And she also, besides the blurting out whatever she wants to, she also bursts into song. It doesn't matter if it's an inopportune moment or not. Do you wanna demonstrate? You wanna sing a little song for us now, Mom?
I just do that when the mood strikes me.
But
Grace.
I thought, it might be funny if you just sang a little something, and it might add something funny to the video.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just don't want to do it.
Okay. Oh, you want me to get you some more water?
Water? No, I don't think so, Grace.
Seriously?
Grace, I have told you many, many times, a drink a day keeps the doctor away. Felicia, hi! Felicia, I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, I've been so parched.
That's what I'm here for.
So seriously, this is what you do.
Don't you love it?
I do. This is the way.
Pam, come in! Oh my God, you're empty! Oh no, let's go and get some more. You're busy.
So this is how you deal with getting older.
Oh,
Yes,
God,
makes
yes.
things
It's wonderful. Yeah.
It helps you embrace it even
Oh,
more.
yes. My mother didn't drink, but I'm making up for it.
I'm done with the vodka.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I will. Oh, I don't like peppermint, but you know what? I love gin.
Oh, what
Look at that. That's
Oh,
coffee. Milk sky. I'm keeping my eye peeled on you. What's the good word tonight? Are you gonna be sunny and bright? Oh, buttermilk sky. Don't you see my avenue? You do. I can't remember the words, but who cares? Woo, woo, woo. Oh, buttermilk sky.
Let me tell you something that I didn't tell you before. When I was dressed as Mary Lincoln, it really isn't fun getting older. I was fibbing. I mean, it's fun getting older because I can play Mary Lincoln when she's dead or dying. But anyway, no, my shoulder hurts, my hip hurts, no matter how I sleep. It doesn't matter because it hurts and there's not enough leave in the world. So believe me, it just stinks getting old. That's it. That's all I needed to say. Thank you very much. Bye.
I want to tell you something. Getting old is not what it's cracked up to be. And never, ever, ever let them make you say your age.
Oh, let's try here. Here, put it in the
Okay,
Here, why don't you put it in your shot glass?
Okay. This is my friend Lori Ann McCabe. It's okay I say your last name, right?
Yes.
Lori Ann and I both turned 50 this year.
Yeah.
You actually, she's actually a month younger than I am. But Lorianne had a big 50th birthday party, right?
YOLO!
And you had
Hashtag YOLO!
you had a banner, right? A banner with the
Big old banner. Happy birthday, Lorianne! And I had
Happy
this.
50th, right? Happy 50th.
Oh, I think. Yeah,
Yes,
50,
it said.
yeah.
And you had
50,
the balloons.
I can kick.
I didn't want any kind of a proclamation about turning 50. That's the
Embarrassed?
thing.
Are you
Just yes.
Embarrassed?
yeah. And
Well,
just,
I mean, I get that.
do you tell people how old you are?
Well, not unless they ask.
But
But then they always say, "Oh, you don't look 50." Of course I don't. But it bothers you a little more than saying you're 49 because 50 it's like
50 just seems to me it's like
half of
old.
100.
Yes.
Yeah,
half
I
of
mean
100 old.
that's true. It can bother you a little bit, but you know what? When you reach this not plateau, this
Milestone is
milestone.
what I call
Yeah,
it.
not a
Milestone.
plateau. Milestone. Yeah. I had this epiphany of I've been doing things my whole life to make everybody else happy. So, Grace, you just have to take this whole thing, own it, wrap it up. When you get to this point, you realize my life's probably more than half over, and I need to start thinking about what makes me happy, because if you're not happy, you can't make anybody else happy either. So you need to start thinking about what makes Grace happy.
Even though she is younger than me, she is so wise, isn't
Not
she?
that much, sister.
Lorianne does this. It's a tribute, right? The Patsy Cline tribute.
Always Patsy Cline.
Always Patsy Cline. And she's fabulous, and she's just so talented, and you have all these different facets about. You're just so good at so many things. That's what I really admire about you. It's so nice to talk to you about this stuff because I've tried to ask other women about aging, and I haven't gotten a fabulous amount of feedback, really.
Well, who'd you talk to?
Well, I talked to Felicia Coulter.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Dramatic actress.
Yes. I talked to Pam Brown.
Oh, Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mary Todd Lincoln,
Mary
yeah.
Todd Pam. Who else did you talk to?
Well, actually, I talked to my mom.
Oh, Betty Jo. She's so sweet.
She will just spontaneously burst into song. I thought, well, that would be funny for the video for her to burst into song and show people, because it's pretty cute, some of these old songs that she knows all the words to. It's like, I've never heard of them. But she refused to sing at all for me until she got drunk. Pam and Felicia came over to Mom's house, and they all got drunk, and so basically what they were saying was that the way to cope with aging is to drink a lot.
Grace? Well, of course it is. I mean, girl, you need a drink. Come on. Hashtag YOLO. Come on, Grace. Hashtag YOLO. Do you know what a hashtag is?
Yes,
It's like a
Twitter.
Twitter thing. I know. You know what YOLO means?
I thought it had. No.
You only live once. YOLO. Come on, get it, girl. Come on, bottoms up. Woo! Yeah, girl. You know what I said? Own it. Own it. One more. How you feeling? Feel better? You feel better?
I do feel better already.
Come on. Yeah, girl. 50. Don't you feel better about being 50?
I guess it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
So I was thinking, the whole thing about having a passion in life is that, you have this whole Patsy Cline thing, which I love that, and I love all those songs and everything.
It ain't all
And-
about Patsy Cline.
I know, but see, the thing is that what if...
She's dead.
What?
She died when she
So
was 30.
sad.
She died when she was
Super sad.
30 years old. I'm 50 years old and I'm still playing Patsy Cline. So what's wrong with that?
That's funny because Pam, it was all about how she is 63 and a half.
Mary Todd Pam.
No, and Mary
She's
Todd.
probably saying Lorianne Patsy. Mary Todd Pam. Lorianne Patsy.
Pam.
Pam.
No, but
The
no.
passion.
Mary
Passion.
Todd died, didn't she? Oh no, she died at 63 and a half. So
63 and a half. That's like
But anyway,
50
now
plus
here's my
13
idea.
and a
So
half.
seriously, here's my idea.
63 and a half years.
This is my idea. I feel like if I had a passion, my life would be a lot better. And so this is what I'm thinking, because I love your Patsy Cline thing. What if we were to have like I mean, not like we would both be Patsy Cline, but what if I was like a Patsy Cline contemporary, like one of her contemporaries, like Tammy Wynette or Loretta Lynn or Taylor Swift. I could be Taylor Swift and you could be Patsy Cline and we could do a little, you know,
Taylor
singing
Swift.
together.
Taylor Swift? Really?
You think it's a good idea?
I hate Taylor Swift.
Maybe we need a little more vodka.
Well, I mean, Taylor Swift and Patsy Cline. Oh, yeah. Get it, girl!
Why though?
Well-
Not J-Lo, but why though?
I watched her take him from me. Slut, and his love is no longer my own.
We've been taking voice lessons.
Now they are gone, and I sit alone. Turn the page and watch one cigarette. Grace, can't you hold your liquor? Oh man, burn away. 50 years old, man. Woo! Yellow.
You can see where I got my singing talent from my mother. Now, so the important lesson, of course, that I learned from all these wise women is it's good to drink a lot, which is an excellent learning lesson, I think. Now, turning 50, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I need to get rid of. I've got a lot of stuff that I just need to let go of. And I've done a lot of, well, I won't say I've done a lot of stupid things in my life because I'm trying to be kinder and nicer to myself about the dumb choices that I have made. Okay, not dumb, but not very bright. Now, there's one thing in particular that I want to tell you about. It happened so many years ago, but I cannot get it out of my brain. A long time ago, in a whole nother century, in the early 90s, I was a contestant on the $100,000 pyramid. Now, I hadn't set out to be a contestant on the pyramid. I didn't even watch the show. But I was living in Los Angeles at the time with my then boyfriend, Scott. And Scott watched the show all the time, and he loved it, and he thought he would be great at it. So he said, let's get on the pyramid. And I said, okay. Mostly because the studio was right down the street from where we lived. So first we had to take a written test, which we both passed. And then there was this kind of a lengthy audition process. And I was all perky and bubbly for the audition. And so I got on the show and Scott didn't. Sorry, Scotty. Okay, so I quickly formulated my plan for the pyramid, my pyramid plan. I was going to win $10,000. Now, in order to win the entire $100,000, you had to play against approximately a bazillion different opponents for a bazillion different games, and so I figured that $10,000 was a very reasonable and attainable goal. I was going to use the money to fund a feature film I wanted to make. Reasonable, practical, and attainable. But before I got to go on the show, it went on hiatus for 3 long months. But I used my time wisely. I practiced every single day. Now, it only aired in LA at 3 in the morning, so I would tape it with my VCR every night, and then the next day, I would play it back with the sound turned off, and I made Scott practice with me every single day. Now, the way that Pyramid works is that there are 2 teams, and you and your celebrity partner take turns giving and receiving clues for a series of words that's in a certain category. Like, the category might be things you find in the bathroom, and so then you'd have to guess stuff like towels and soap. Pretty straightforward. But I thought to add a little interactive thing here, I'm going to have my good friend Randy come up, and we're going to do a little demonstration game, a little round for you just to show you how it goes. He's going to play my celebrity partner. I don't know if he really wants to be a celebrity tonight. That would be awesome.
And a celebrity.
Do you want a microphone?
I guess I better get one.
Okay, so now I'm going to step out, and Randy has a category for you, I hope. and then he's going to ask you for some words, and then I will go in my soundproof room, and then I'll come back and try to guess the words and see if I'm really good at it or not. Here I go.
Go back in your soundproof
All
room.
right.
Okay.
Just a minute.
The category is things you find on a sandwich. So, I need some,
Lettuce.
what?
Lettuce.
Don't say it too loud. Okay, I need 5 more. Come on.
Ham.
Pickles.
Horseradish.
Spam.
Okay.
Bread.
Okay.
Cabbage.
Bread. Luncheon made.
Okay.
Black olive.
I've heard so many. Okay. That's plenty. I think that's plenty. We don't want to be here all night. All right. I'll go get her in her soundproof booth. Are you ready?
I need a drink first, wait.
The category is things you find on a sandwich.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
On a sandwich, okay.
Ready?
How many words are there?
6.
Okay.
Is anybody timing us? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the first
But
one.
you have to do it fast, obviously, fast.
Okay, the first is a vegetable. You slice it up and you have it in salads.
Cucumber.
No, it's
Carrot?
the leafy stuff.
Lettuce?
Yes. Okay, the next one is it's a pig. It's made out of pig.
Ham?
Yes. The other one is old cucumbers, I think.
Old cucumbers?
Yeah,
Pickles?
pickles, yes. The next is
Old cucumber.
weird stuff in a can that I wasn't sure if it was meat when I was
Sauerkraut?
a kid. No, it's
Spam?
yes. Spam. Okay, this is I think it's a fruit really, but everybody thinks it's a vegetable.
Cherry.
It's red.
Cherry.
No, it's red, and you slice it and put it on stuff, and you make
Pepper?
spaghetti sauce with it.
Cherries. Tomatoes.
Yes,
Tomatoes.
okay.
I meant tomatoes. There's tomatoes in
this
my
is
mind.
another thing like the first clue, and it's you chop it up and put it in salad, and it
Lettuce,
can be
romaine,
it can
spinach,
be something like that. It's
arugula,
I don't know.
bok choy.
It's you chop it up and put it in salad. No, our time's gonna be up. Come
Broccoli,
on.
broccoli.
No,
Come on.
you chop it up and put it in coleslaw. Coleslaw.
Oh, cabbage.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Randy.
$500 a piece.
Okay, thanks. Good job, Randy. Big round of applause for Okay, so now, if you would win this round, then you got to go to the winner's circle where you actually win the cash. Now here, your celebrity opponent, your celebrity partner gives you clues, and then your celebrity partner gives you clues, and then you have to guess the category that the clues belong in. Like, you might have to guess things you find in the kitchen or on a sandwich. And this was way harder, partly because of the added pressure of actually winning the money. Now, I never got entirely comfortable with the winner's circle portion of the game when we practiced at home, but I figured that once those TV cameras were rolling, it would all just fall into place. Good idea. So, the morning of the taping, I got up early, and Scott and I practiced one final time. So that was the 90th time in 90 days. And I was a little edgy, and I suddenly felt that he was not being supportive, which he wasn't in the relationship, but that is a whole other story. Married to Kevin, not Scott. So I snapped at him. And so then Scott got mad. He said, "Grace, I'm not going to practice with you anymore." And so, of course, I got hysterical. I cried, my makeup ran, my nose got all red. It was not pretty. Well, Scott apologized, and I redid my makeup, and off we went. Now, I should have taken this for the evil omen that it was. When we got to CBS Studios, I had to practice this wretched little twist to the game called Double Trouble. Now here, instead of a one-word answer, it was a two-part word like rain dance or peg leg. Now, the guy who was in charge of the contestants, his name was Dick. Dick came up to me and told me that, and he suggested, in a very condescending way, that if the Double Trouble game came up, it might not come up, but if it did, I should not give the clues for Double Trouble because I was no good at it. Now, I will say this about Dick. He did mention more than once, we had several practices, he mentioned more than once that we should play the game for fun and not for cash, because if we focused on winning the money, we would not win. But I figured, what did he know, Dick? So my opponent for the game was this mousy older woman from Georgia. Well, she seemed older at the time, but she probably hadn't even turned 50. Now, by the time it was my turn to play against her, she had already won several games in a row, but I thought, well, these must have been very flappable opponents, not a cool and calm, collected cookie like me. Now, our celebrity host for the show at this time was John Davidson. There he is, John Davidson. And my celebrity partner was Vicki Lawrence. Vicki, now she made me laugh so hard on the Carol Burnett show, I knew we would hit it off immediately. She would probably invite me over for dinner with some of her celebrity friends after I had won all that money. Or better yet, I could take her out to dinner someplace fancy after she had helped me win the cash. It was the least I could do. Now, when Vicki came out, she shimmered with all kinds of jewels and gold draped all over her. Now, Vicki looked like she had not aged at all since the Carol Burnett days. But I mean, I was sitting right there next to her, and it looked to me like if you would have tapped her cheek ever so gently with a little jeweler's mallet, it would have shattered into a million pieces. Now, I have to say I was a little starstruck at Vicki, and I simpered something to her like, I think you're great. And Vicki smiled at me, the most phony smile I'd ever seen, and then she completely ignored me in order to chat up John Davidson. Okay, it didn't matter. I needed to focus on winning the money. Now, Miss Georgia was stuck with some relatively unknown celebrity named Scott somebody. Okay, round one. It was almost too easy. The words appeared on this little screen in front of me. I spat out the clues. Vicki rattled off the answers. We could have gone far, Vicki and me, if she'd only ever talked to me. But we won the round. We were going to the winner's circle, and I was going to finally win my money. It was terrible. Firstly, I must blame the stupid categories I was supposed to guess. And secondly, sadly, I must blame Vicki. Some of the clues were so hard for her that she didn't even let me guess. She just kept saying, pass? She was flustered. This was not supposed to happen. Vicki wasn't exactly Miss Cordiality, but she was a pyramid pro, for God's sakes. One of the categories I was supposed to guess was things you find on the patio. And all Vicki could come up with was, umbrella? Umbrella? And I kept saying, things you find on the beach. Things you find on the beach. As if I kept saying it over and over again, somehow it would make it be the right answer. Now, it was all a painful blur, and by the time it was over, I had only won a measly $500. Round two. My final chance to win my money. And guess what? Double trouble. Plus, now we suddenly had to switch partners, and now I was stuck with relatively unknown celebrity Scott somebody. I guess he had played the husband of Corky Sherwood on the TV show Murphy Brown a million years ago. And Randy says that he later played Reba McEntire's husband on the Reba show. I personally do not care where his career went. Now, during the commercial break, Dick came over and once again insisted that I should not give the clues for double trouble. I don't know what makes me madder, the fact that Dick kept insisting that I receive the clues for double trouble or that I listen to him. Dick. Okay, round two. Scott, somebody and I were okay for a while. For about 15, 20 seconds, we were great. But then it quickly became painfully obvious that Scott somebody had never practiced double trouble. I don't think he practiced the game at all, or ever watched the show, or owned a television set. Scott somebody seemed like a nice enough fellow, but he should not have taken on such a monumental responsibility without some serious preparation. Because suddenly it all went to hell. Scott somebody just kept saying, it's a street. It's a street. And I kept yelling, zip code, zip code. And he got more and more panicky. I could see it in his eyes. And over it was, it's a street. It's a street. Followed by higher and higher levels of zip code, zip code, zip code. This is the part that will not leave my mind. What Scott somebody should have said, what anybody with half a brain would have said, who had ever played the game or played any kind of game at all. Now just follow along here and see if you cannot guess the answer instantaneously without even thinking about it. Are you ready? Not alive, but dead. Of course dead. And not beginning, but end. Dead end. Dead end. Dead end. Dead end. It was all over. My chance at untold riches, plus dinner with Vicky and her fabulous celebrity friends. Now Scott, somebody and I had to sit there and pretend to chat amicably while the end credits rolled. And I did my best to smile bravely and not burst into tears, but I know I had to look like I was ready to start sobbing at any minute. And poor Scott, somebody, he kept gently patting my hand and saying, "I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Dead end. Dead end." Now, besides the measly $500, I did get some fabulous consolation prizes, including an electric can opener that immediately broke, a Singer Magic Press, which was this 500-pound clothes presser, much too cumbersome to ever actually use for anything, and I won a year's supply of potpourri peach-scented trash bags. I don't think they make those anymore. But anyway, I immediately used up my entire year's supply of potpourri peach-scented trash bags in order to pack up all my belongings. Because right after the taping of the show, Scott and I, not Scott, somebody, he and I have not spoken since the dead end incident. But right after the taping of the show, my then boyfriend Scott and I packed up all our stuff and moved from LA to Austin, Texas. And that is a whole nother story. But I was very classy back then, packing up all my belongings in my potpourri peach-scented trash bags. So there is one good thing about being 50. I now have plenty of luggage, as well as baggage. Now, I did learn something from the pyramid. I learned that I should try not to get so worked up about most things in life. Because really, what was the $10,000? It's not like I needed it for a brain transplant or anything. I did finally make that feature film. Oh, I learned never to listen to guys named Dick. And the pyramid was fun in a nightmare, agony, getting your teeth pulled with no Novocaine kind of way. It was fun, and I learned, well, that's basically all that I did learn. It was fun. But I do feel that now I'm making much better choices now that I'm a very wise and mature 50-year-old. Except, my friend Randy loves the game show The Family Feud, and it looks awesome. And I think we could all do it together. Kevin and I, Randy could pretend to be my brother because he's really good at the game. I just found out my friend Erica is also good at it. My little sister Amy and her husband, they would be fabulous. My mom, she could be comic relief, and I think we could make a lot of money. So there you go. There is always something to strive for. And in the meantime, sometimes bad things happen, and sometimes worse things happen, but there's always a little something good that does happen in life. And as my very wise women friends taught me, there is always alcohol to get you through it. And on that very un-PC first night note, have a great rest of your evening and a very happy new year. Good night.